Dan untuk mengetahui bagaimana situasi terbaru di Yokohama, Jepang, kita telah terhubung dengan koresponden CNN Matt Rivers. Good afternoon from Indonesia, Matt.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, Matt, can you tell us what is the latest situation and updates regarding the quarantine cruise ship in Yokohama?
Sure. Well, on board that ship is about 3,700 people at this point, a little more than 1,000 of those being staff members, the rest being passengers, and they remain in quarantine. They're going to remain in quarantine for the next 2 weeks, and as new cases of coronavirus arrive, those people are going to be taken off the ship. So in terms of the latest number of cases, we've seen that number rise over the past couple days. A few days ago, it was 20 cases. Then it jumped yesterday from 20 to 61 cases in total, a jump of 41. Today, only a jump of 3 new cases. So that brings our final number of cases, at least today, as we close out the day here in Japan, at 64 cases. But of course, the big question is, well, what happens tomorrow and the next day and the next day? This is a very contagious virus, and so what happens next? That's why people on board are so frustrated and so nervous. The Japanese authorities will not let these people off the ship. They say it is protocol to have them shelter in place in their rooms, and they are regularly tested and screened for symptoms. If they're positive, they're taken off the ship, but if they are not, they're going to remain inside their rooms for the next 2 weeks while this quarantine period, finishes out. And so that's why people are frustrated. They're nervous to be on that ship. But for now, Japanese authorities are saying, look, this is the biggest concentration of an outbreak of coronavirus outside of mainland China, and they are taking extreme precautions here with this cruise ship.
Matt, what will Japan government will do? How to handle this case?
Well, basically what they're doing is when they find 6 people on board the ship, they're tested on board the ship to see if they have the coronavirus. If they do, they are brought off the ship into local hospitals here in Japan, into quarantine units where they are treated. And that is going to be the protocol for the next 2 weeks. That is what the Japanese government believes is the safest method to move forward, not only for the people who are on board the ship, but also for the population here on shore. Japan is very nervous about the coronavirus spreading rapidly through its own population, and so that's why you're seeing them take these kinds of overly precautious measures, or some would say rightly precautious measures, to make sure that this outbreak on board this cruise ship does not affect people on land here in Japan.
What about passengers' logistics, like food and also drink in the ship? Are they still sufficient to fulfill the passengers' need?
Yeah, it's a good question. I mean, what they're doing is bringing supplies. We've been down in the port, and we've seen them reload the ship with supplies because the ship is able to dock here in Yokohama harbor, so they can restock the ship with supplies. That said, if you're a passenger on this ship, you're only allowed to leave your room for about an hour a day, roughly. The rest of the time, you have to be stuck in the room. Some of these passengers have rooms with no windows to the outside, and so you can imagine they're quite frustrated. They're going to go a little stir crazy. They can't leave their rooms. They can't do in terms of boredom, in terms of just going crazy from being a room that you're not allowed to leave. One person described it to us as a floating and
Okay, Matt Rivers, thank you.